Well, I'm here on the PCC stand, and I'm looking at this rather splendid Cheltenham Caravan. Now, Cheltenhams are one of the most popular classic touring caravans that you can find today, and they've got a very active Cheltenham Owners Club. This one is a 1955-56 Cheltenham Stag, which is a two-berth caravan. But what is quite interesting about the Cheltenham is the GRP roof, because GRP was a new material that manufacturers were going to start using, and was used more to success in the 60s. Cheltenham were one of the first really to pioneer, to make it work for them. Willoughby tried it with a caravan called the Vogue and the Vista, which proved very expensive to make and also was very heavy. But Cheltenham really paved the way, because by the late 50s, early 60s, the front and rear panels were all GRP. But instead of talking about just on the outside, let's go and have a look on the inside, because this is really a super smart caravan that you would have been the envy of your friends on the rally field. Here, sat in the Stag, and you know what? This is a really roomy lounge area. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot of locker storage, but again, what we're going to say is that the people didn't take quite as much stuff away with them in those days, and this would have been seen as more than adequate with the shelves and a locker over this side. Of course, lighting then was by gas lamp. We've got an LED now, of course, in the centre here to give us this artificial light while we're inside. But also, it just shows how comfortable it is. You've got this nice sort of chest of drawers here in the middle. A table that slides out, and the Cheltenham emblem on there. But also, you've got a nice little book rack there, newspaper rack. You put your books in, etc. And it's really a spacious tourer. Right, now I'm going to get up, and I'm going to come and have a look here over this side. Now, first of all, we said about the GRP roof on the outside, but what Cheltenham did, they put this big roof vent over the top, and again you can see it's made out of GRP, and they called it the Moorlight. And this obviously raised up to let air in, but when it was down, because it was sort of fairly transparent, it would let quite a lot of air through. So quite a bit there, quite a bit of light coming through here, plus your side window. So this would feel a light and airy caravan. Now we've got all this, these things here on display that from that era, which is great, and it just adds to the feel of this caravan. We've got some lockers and storage here. We've got a nice big cupboard and a dresser here, and you can imagine back in the 1950s, this is an upmarket caravan. You would be the envy of the rally field, because Cheltenham were well known for being a good quality touring caravan, and were made from the 1920s up until the early 70s, around about 1974-75, when the original company actually fell by the wayside, and another company called Sterling Caravans at Cirencester was going to take them on. They made 2 prototypes but never went any further, and then they sold the rights to the company to a dealership, Ferndale Caravans in Kent, who, under the old production manager from the old original Cheltenham Caravan Company, started to rebuild the Cheltenham Caravan again, although it was never to be as successful as the original company. And they were made to about 1981-82. Now, while I'm going around here, I'll still carry on with this story, because the Cheltenham story didn't end there. There was a couple called the Bradleys. They were down in Bransgore, and what they did, they were keen Cheltenham fans, and they decided to start restoring Cheltenham. So when people had the Cheltenham and wanted a new back panel or whatever, or some bits of repair work done, John and Tina Bradley carried on the Cheltenham name. They got all the spares. They sent spares out as far as Canada, where there were Cheltenhams being used. So they helped keep that Cheltenham name alive for many, many years. The Cheltenham Owners Club is still a very successful and very strong owners club indeed, and in fact the Cheltenham Caravan is a very sought after classic caravan. Now here is the washroom. I'm not going to actually go into the washroom, because obviously this is someone's caravan, and it's not the done thing really, and I'm not going to start opening cupboards. But look at the storage. I mean, this would be really good storage for a tour of this size, and it weighed about 730 kilos, which equates to around about 1400 weight in the old money basically, which are still working. So a light caravan by today's standards. Well, we've got a nice little L-shaped kitchen here. You've got your little twin burner, a grill, and this would be a sort of oven where you pop your stuff in, put it over on your burner there. That would all pack away, that would drop down, and then it would be nicely and neatly out of the way. There would have been another gas light here somewhere. I think there's a place electric light here, and that's possibly where another gas light would have been. And also it's an L-shaped kitchen, which basically means you get that little bit extra more storage. And unusually, the sink is actually placed on this side here. Notice a plastic sink. Stainless steel sinks didn't start coming into caravans until about the early 70s. That was seen as a bit of an innovation. But the old pump was a hand pump that pumped from your cold water container from outside into the van. Now, it's great to see such a caravan like this still in use. It's still very popular at the rallies, at the PCC rallies. People come and look at it, and the owners are never on their own because people just want to come and look at this lovely caravan. And you know what? You come in here and it feels a very spacious tourer, and you've still got a big wardrobe. You've got that big roof light, which is on a modern tourer now is well, it's the norm. That back in the day, that was quite innovative. Good quality woodwork, spacious design, and the people that own Cheltenham Caravans, the Gardner families, also used to use the caravans themselves and test them. They built their own chassis, used their own suspension systems. So many caravans that they developed and launched, new models, they'd actually been out in themselves. Now, I'm loath to go back now out of the caravans because it's a really great stand as a PCC here, and when you're here again, if you come next year to the Classic Car Show, look out for the PCC because they're a great club, and they've also they really push the classic caravan idea to non-classic caravan enthusiasts, who eventually some do become a classic caravan enthusiast and start doing their own renovations. But the Cheltenham Stag, it's a super van, and I think basically I can see why people love to come and look at this at the shows. Andrew Jenkinson signing off, and do please feel free to do a like and also do a subscription to my YouTube channel. Bye for now.